Hello, I'm SA, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
Arthur Conan Doyle, a name synonymous with masterful storytelling and ingenious deduction, is primarily celebrated as the creator of Sherlock Holmes. A less commonly known facet of his life, however, is his formal training and practice as a physician. This medical background proved foundational to his literary endeavors, particularly in shaping the character and methods of his iconic detective. The late Victorian era, a period marked by unprecedented scientific advancement and a burgeoning interest in the application of science to criminal investigation, provided a fertile ground for Doyle's unique blend of medical knowledge and narrative skill. This era witnessed the rise of forensic science from its relative infancy, with pioneering figures like Alphonse Berthelin developing anthropometric systems for identifying criminals and scientists exploring the potential of fingerprint analysis. The public imagination was captivated by the promise of science to solve mysteries and bring criminals to justice, a sentiment that Doyle skillfully tapped into with his Sherlock Holmes stories. Within this context, Conan Doyle's medical education and experiences became a powerful lens through which he viewed the world, informing his understanding of evidence, observation, and logical reasoning. The convergence of scientific progress and the public's fascination with crime created a unique cultural moment, one that Doyle skillfully captured and amplified through his literary creations. The central argument presented here asserts that Arthur Conan Doyle's medical training exerted a profound influence on the creation of Sherlock Holmes. It argues that the detective's celebrated method of deduction, his keen observational skills, and his systematic approach to solving mysteries were deeply rooted in the scientific and diagnostic practices of late and 8th century medicine. Holmes, in essence, embodies the ideal of a physician as a rational, objective observer capable of discerning truth from a careful examination of evidence. Doyle's medical background provided him with both the knowledge and the perspective to craft a detective who operated according to the principles of scientific inquiry, setting a new standard for the genre and influencing the development of forensic science itself. To explore this argument in detail, this analysis will proceed through several key stages. First, it will examine Conan Doyle's medical education at the University of Edinburgh, highlighting the professor's courses and clinical experiences that shaped his understanding of observation, diagnosis, and the scientific method. It will demonstrate how the challenges of medical practice in the late 9th century, particularly the reliance on careful observation in the absence of advanced technology, mirror the challenges Holmes would later face in solving crimes. Following this, it will delve into the specific scientific principles that underpin Sherlock Holmes' methods, exploring how Holmes applied techniques of observation, experimentation, and logical deduction to unravel complex mysteries. It will analyze specific examples from the Sherlock Holmes stories to illustrate how Doyle incorporated medical and scientific concepts into his narratives, creating a detective who was as much a scientist as he was a sleuth. Furthermore, it will investigate the impact of Sherlock Holmes on the development of forensic science. It will demonstrate how Doyle's fictional detective inspired real-world investigators to adopt more scientific approaches to crime solving, leading to the development of new forensic techniques and the refinement of existing ones. It will examine specific historical cases where Holmes's methods were directly or indirectly applied, highlighting the enduring legacy of Doyle's creation on the field of criminal investigation. Subsequently, it will consider Doyle's other scientific pursuits and beliefs, exploring his interest in areas such as spiritualism and his involvement in various scientific debates of his time. It will analyze how these pursuits reflected his broader intellectual curiosity and his commitment to exploring the boundaries of human knowledge. Finally, it will offer a reflection on Doyle's enduring legacy, considering how his medical background, his literary genius, and his scientific interests combine to create a body of work that continues to captivate and inspire audiences around the world. It will assess the lasting impact of Sherlock Holmes on popular culture, forensic science, and the broader understanding of the relationship between science and society. Doyle's early life provided a foundation for his later intellectual pursuits. Born in Edinburgh, Scotland in 1859, he was immersed in an environment that valued education and intellectual achievement. His family, though facing financial difficulties, instilled in him a love of literature and a thirst for knowledge. This early exposure to learning would prove crucial in shaping his career path and his subsequent literary success. The decision to pursue a medical degree at the University of Edinburgh was a significant turning point in Doyle's life. The University of Edinburgh was a leading medical institution renowned for its rigorous curriculum and its emphasis on scientific inquiry. Doyle's medical studies exposed him to a world of anatomy, physiology, pathology, and clinical medicine, providing him with a comprehensive understanding of the human body and the principles of disease. During his time at the University of Edinburgh, Doyle had the opportunity to study under some of the most influential medical figures of his day. Professors such as Joseph Bell, a renowned surgeon and diagnostician, had a profound impact on his development. Bell was known for his exceptional observational skills and his ability to diagnose patients based on subtle clues and deductions. Doyle later acknowledged that Bell served as a major inspiration for the character of Sherlock Holmes, particularly in his emphasis on observation and logical reasoning. Doyle's medical training extended beyond the classroom and the lecture hall. He gained practical experience through clinical rotations in various hospitals and clinics, where he had the opportunity to examine patients, diagnose illnesses, and assist in surgical procedures. These clinical experiences provided him with a first-hand understanding of the challenges and complexities of medical practice, shaping his perspective on the human condition and the importance of careful observation. The late 9th century was a time of rapid scientific advancement, particularly in the field of medicine. New discoveries in bacteriology, immunology, and pharmacology were transforming medical practice, leading to improved methods of diagnosis and treatment. Doyle's medical education exposed him to these cutting-edge developments, instilling in him a deep appreciation for the power of science to improve human health. The nascent field of forensic science was also gaining momentum during this period. Scientists were beginning to explore the potential of applying scientific techniques to criminal investigation, such as using blow stains to identify perpetrators and analyzing fingerprints to establish identity. Doyle's medical background provided him with a unique understanding of these developments, allowing him to incorporate forensic science concepts into Sherlock Holmes stories. The Sherlock Holmes stories First published in the late 19th century, quickly gained widespread popularity, captivating readers with their intricate plots, their memorable characters, and their innovative use of scientific deduction. Holmes, with his keen observational skills, his encyclopedic knowledge, and his unwavering commitment to logic, became a cultural icon, inspiring countless readers to embrace the principles of scientific inquiry. The detective's methods, rooted in Doyle's medical training and his understanding of scientific principles, resonated with a public increasingly fascinated by the power of science. Holmes's ability to solve complex mysteries through careful observation, logical deduction, and a systematic approach to evidence appealed to a sense of order and rationality in a rapidly changing world. The enduring legacy of Arthur Conan Doyle lies not only in his literary achievements, but also in his profound influence on the development of forensic science and the popularization of scientific thinking. His medical background provided him with a unique perspective that shaped his literary creations and contributed to his enduring impact on society. The stories of Sherlock Holmes continue to be read and enjoyed around the world, inspiring readers to embrace the principles of observation, deduction, and the pursuit of truth. Arthur Conan Doyle's journey to becoming the creator of the world's most famous detective began far from the bustling streets of London, within the rigorous halls of the University of Edinburgh's medical school. His time there, spanning from 1876 to 1881, proved formative, instilling in him a keen eye for detail, a disciplined approach to problem solving, and a deep appreciation for the power of scientific reasoning. These were the very tools that would later define Sherlock Holmes. The late 19th century witnessed a medical landscape vastly different from the technologically advanced world of today. Diagnostic capabilities remained limited, forcing physicians to rely heavily on their observational skills and clinical acumen. X-rays were a discovery of the future, laboratory tests were rudimentary, and the ability to visualize the inner workings of the human body remained largely unexplored. Doctors, therefore, functioned as astute observers, meticulously gathering information from patient histories, physical examinations, and the careful interpretation of symptoms. This era placed immense value in the art of deduction, requiring doctors to piece together disparate clues to arrive at an accurate diagnosis. At Edinburgh, Conan Doyle immersed himself in a curriculum that emphasized these very skills. He studied under some of the most eminent medical figures of the time, professors who instilled in him a profound respect for scientific methodology. One particularly influential figure was Dr. Joseph Bell, a surgeon renowned for his diagnostic prowess. Bell possessed an uncanny ability to discern a patient's occupation and personal history based solely on his astute observations of seemingly insignificant details. He could deduce a sailor's history from a tattoo or identify a manual laborer by the calluses on his hands. Bell's methods were steeped in the principles of observation and inference, demonstrating the power of careful analysis in unraveling complex situations. Doyle readily acknowledged Bell's profound influence on the character of Sherlock Holmes. He saw in Bell a model for the meticulous observer, the individual who could extract meaning from the seemingly mundane. The ability to notice minute details, to connect seemingly unrelated facts, and to construct a logical narrative from disparate pieces of evidence became hallmarks of both Bell's medical practice and Holmes's detective work. Doyle's medical education provided him with a framework for understanding the human body, the nature of disease, and the importance of systematic investigation. He learned to approach medical problems with a scientific mindset, formulating hypotheses, gathering evidence, and testing his conclusions through careful observation and analysis. The principles of diagnosis, with its emphasis on identifying patterns, interpreting symptoms, and ruling out possibilities, mirrored the process of criminal investigation. Beyond the lectures and demonstrations, Conan Doyle's medical training extended to the practical realities of treating patients. He gained first-hand experience in the wards of the Edinburgh Royal Infirmary, encountering a wide range of medical conditions and witnessing the challenges of diagnosing diseases with limited resources. These experiences provided him with a deeper understanding of human nature, the complexities of illness, and the importance of empathy and patient care. He served as a house surgeon and later as a general practitioner, confronting the daily struggles of medical practice. He dealt with the anxieties of patients, the uncertainties of diagnosis, and the limitations of available treatments. The difficulties Doyle faced as a physician undoubtedly shaped his perspective on evidence and inference. In an era before advanced imaging techniques and sophisticated laboratory tests, doctors relied heavily on their ability to interpret subtle signs and symptoms. Misdiagnosis was a constant threat, and the consequences could be dire. This environment fostered a deep appreciation for the importance of accuracy, thoroughness, and logical reasoning. Doyle learned to approach medical problems with a critical eye, questioning assumptions, seeking corroborating evidence, and avoiding hasty conclusions. The challenges of diagnosing illnesses with limited technology mirrored the challenges faced by detectives in solving crimes. Both require the ability to gather information, analyze evidence, and construct a coherent narrative from fragmented clues. Doyle's medical training provided him with a framework for understanding the process of investigation, the importance of objectivity, and the need to avoid bias. He understood that both medicine and detective work demanded a commitment to uncovering the truth, regardless of the obstacles encountered. The skills Doyle honed during his medical training extended beyond the realm of diagnosis. He learned to communicate effectively with patients, to listen attentively to their concerns, and to explain complex medical concepts in clear and understandable terms. These communication skills also proved invaluable in his writing, allowing him to create believable characters, craft engaging narratives, and convey complex ideas to a wide audience. The ability to present information in a logical and persuasive manner became a hallmark of his writing style, contributing to the enduring popularity of his stories. Doyle's medical experiences also instilled in him a deep sense of social responsibility. He witnessed firsthand the inequalities in healthcare, the suffering caused by poverty and disease, and the importance of public health initiatives. These experiences shaped his worldview and informed his writing, often addressing social issues and advocating for reforms. He saw medicine as a calling, a profession dedicated to alleviating suffering and improving the well-being of society. This sense of purpose extended to his writing, which he viewed as a means of educating, entertaining, and inspiring readers. The foundation of medical diagnosis remains rooted in the core skills of observation and deduction, even with the advent of advanced technology. While modern medicine offers a vast array of diagnostic tools, the ability to carefully observe patients, to interpret their symptoms, and to formulate a logical diagnosis remains essential. Doctors still rely on their clinical acumen, their ability to connect seemingly unrelated facts, and their understanding of human physiology. Technology serves as a powerful aid, but it cannot replace the fundamental skills of observation, deduction, and critical thinking. Doyle's creation, Sherlock Holmes, embodies these very principles. Holmes's ability to solve complex mysteries through careful observation, logical deduction, and a systematic approach to evidence reflects the skills and knowledge that Doyle acquired during his medical training. Holmes's methods resonate with readers because they represent a rational and scientific approach to problem solving, an approach that remains relevant in the modern world. The character's enduring appeal lies in his ability to bring order to chaos, to unravel complex situations, and to uncover the truth through the power of reason. Arthur Conan Doyle's medical background profoundly shaped his literary creation, Sherlock Holmes. Doyle's experiences in the wards and laboratories provided him with a unique perspective on observation, deduction, and the importance of empirical evidence. These elements became central to Holmes's character and methods, distinguishing him from conventional detectives and resonating with a public eager for rational solutions to complex problems. Holmes, in essence, is the embodiment of the scientific method applied to criminal investigation, a stark contrast to the often haphazard and intuition-based approaches prevalent in contemporary police forces. The scientific method, at its core, is a systematic process for acquiring knowledge and understanding the world. It begins with careful observation, followed by the formulation of a hypothesis to explain those observations. This hypothesis is then tested through experimentation or further data collection. Finally, the results are analyzed and conclusions are drawn. Holmes meticulously adheres to this process in his investigations. Observation is the bedrock of Holmes's method. He possesses an extraordinary ability to notice seemingly insignificant details that escape the attention of others. These details, meticulously gathered and analyzed, form the foundation upon which he builds his hypotheses. Consider, for instance, the opening of a scandal in Bohemia. Holmes observes the details of a visiting card left by a potential client, noting the type of paper, the quality of the printing, and subtle signs of wear. From these seemingly trivial observations, he deduces a wealth of information about the client's social standing, profession, and recent activities, all before the client even speaks a word. This demonstrates Holmes's commitment to gathering as much empirical data as possible before forming any preliminary conclusions. Following observation, Holmes formulates hypotheses to explain the available evidence. These hypotheses are not mere guesses, but rather carefully considered explanations based on his extensive knowledge and experience. He entertains multiple possibilities, weighing the evidence for and against each one. A prime example of this process can be seen in The Adventure of the Dancing Men. Holmes is presented with a series of cryptic symbols that appear to be a secret code. Rather than immediately jumping to a conclusion, he considers various possibilities, including the possibility that the symbols are mere children's drawings. He then systematically analyzes the symbols, looking for patterns and clues that might reveal their true meaning. This careful consideration of alternative hypotheses is a hallmark of the scientific method and a key element of Holmes's success. Experimentation, in the traditional scientific sense, is challenging to implement in criminal investigations. However, Holmes employs a form of information gathering that serves a similar purpose. He meticulously collects evidence, consults experts, and conducts background research to test his hypotheses. This often involves recreating crime scenes, analyzing physical evidence, and interviewing witnesses. In The Adventure of the Speckled Band, Holmes examines the crime scene with meticulous care, noting the unusual features of the room, such as the ventilator shaft and the bell rope. He then conducts research on the victim's stepfather, Dr. Grimesby Roylott, discovering his background in India and his interest in exotic animals. This information gathering allows Holmes to test his hypotheses about the cause of death and ultimately uncover the truth. Deduction is the final step in Holmes's scientific process. He uses logical reasoning to draw conclusions from the available evidence, eliminating possibilities until only one remains. His deductions are not based on intuition or guesswork, but rather on a rigorous application of logic and reason. In The Sign of War, Holmes uses his knowledge of toxicology and human physiology to deduce the method of murder. He observes the small puncture wound on the victim's body and the presence of a rare poison. From this evidence, he deduces that the victim was killed by a poisoned dart, a conclusion that is later confirmed by further investigation. This ability to draw logical conclusions from empirical evidence is what sets Holmes apart from other detectives and makes him such a compelling figure. Holmes's methods stood in stark contrast to the approaches employed by contemporary police forces. In the late 9th century, criminal investigation was often unsystematic and reliant on intuition, conjecture, and sometimes even coercion. Evidence was often mishandled or ignored, and logical reasoning was frequently replaced by prejudice and speculation. The police often focused on arresting suspects based on circumstantial evidence or personal biases, rather than on carefully analyzing the facts and drawing logical conclusions. Doyle highlights this contrast in his stories, often portraying police officers as well-meaning but ultimately incompetent. Inspector Lestrade of Scotland Yard, for example, is a recurring character who frequently seeks Holmes's assistance in solving difficult cases. Lestrade is portrayed as a capable officer, but he lacks Holmes's analytical skills and his commitment to the scientific method. He often jumps to conclusions based on superficial evidence and fails to consider alternative explanations. Holmes, on the other hand, approaches each case with a fresh perspective, carefully analyzing the evidence and drawing logical conclusions, regardless of preconceived notions. The importance of empirical evidence is a recurring theme throughout the Sherlock Holmes stories. Holmes consistently emphasizes the need to gather facts and to avoid speculation. He famously advises it is a capital mistake to theorize before one has data. Insensibly, one begins to twist facts to suit theories instead of theories to suit facts. This statement encapsulates Holmes's commitment to the scientific method and his belief in the power of empirical evidence. He understands that theories must be grounded in reality and that facts should never be distorted or ignored to fit a preconceived notion. Logical reasoning is another cornerstone of Holmes's method. He uses deductive reasoning to draw conclusions from the available evidence, eliminating possibilities until only one remains. His deductions are based on a rigorous application of logic and reason, and he is careful to avoid fallacies and biases. He often explains his reasoning to Watson, demonstrating the logical step he takes to arrive at his conclusions. This transparency allows the reader to follow Holmes's thought process and to appreciate the power of logical reasoning. The enduring appeal of Sherlock Holmes lies in his ability to solve complex mysteries through the application of the scientific method. He represents a triumph of reason over chaos, of order over disorder. His methods are not only effective, but also intellectually satisfying. Readers are drawn to his character because he embodies the values of rationality, logic, and empirical evidence, values that remain essential in the modern world. The character's popularity demonstrates a desire for a world where problems can be solved through careful observation, logical deduction, and a systematic approach to evidence, a world where truth prevails through the power of reason. The character's methods provide a framework for problem-solving that extends far beyond the realm of criminal investigation. The emphasis on observation, hypothesis formation, experimentation, and deduction is applicable to a wide range of fields, from scientific research to business management to everyday decision-making. Holmes's example encourages individuals to approach problems with a critical and analytical mindset, to gather information carefully, to consider alternative explanations, and to draw logical conclusions based on the available evidence. This approach, rooted in the scientific method, empowers individuals to make informed decisions and to solve problems effectively. The enduring appeal of Sherlock Holmes extends beyond the realm of literature, reaching into the very foundations of modern forensic science. Conan Doyle's creation, while fictional, served as a powerful catalyst in popularizing scientific methods for crime detection, influencing both public perception and the practices of real-world investigators. The character's astute observations and deductive reasoning foreshadowed many techniques that would later become cornerstones of forensic investigation. In the late 19th century, the landscape of criminal investigation was markedly different from what it is today. Law enforcement often relied on eyewitness testimony, circumstantial evidence, and sometimes less than scientific methods. The systematic application of scientific principles to crime scene analysis was a relatively nascent field. Against this backdrop, Sherlock Holmes emerged as a beacon of rational inquiry, demonstrating the power of observation, experimentation, and logical deduction in solving complex cases. One of the most significant contributions of the Sherlock Holmes stories was the popularization of fingerprinting as a means of identification. Although the scientific study of fingerprints predates the publication of the Holmes stories, their inclusion in the narratives brought the technique to a wider audience. The ability to identify individuals based on unique fingerprint patterns, a method employed by Holmes with remarkable accuracy, captured the imagination of readers and highlighted the potential of this innovative approach to crime solving. The fictional detective's success in utilizing fingerprints to solve cases undoubtedly contributed to the increased adoption of this technique by law enforcement agencies. Similarly, the Sherlock Holmes stories played a role in raising awareness of the importance of bloodstain analysis. Holmes's methods of examining bloodstains, determining their origin, and drawing inferences about the events that transpired at a crime scene foreshadowed the development of modern blood spatter analysis. While the scientific understanding of bloodstain patterns was still in its early stages during Conan Doyle's time, the character's fictional applications demonstrated the potential of this technique in reconstructing crime scenes and identifying perpetrators. The stories emphasized that bloodstains were not merely random marks, but rather valuable clues that could reveal the dynamics of a violent encounter. Furthermore, the Sherlock Holmes stories highlighted the significance of trace evidence analysis. Holmes's meticulous examination of seemingly insignificant details, such as fibers, hairs, and soil samples, demonstrated the potential of these materials in linking suspects to crime scenes. The character's ability to extract meaningful information from minute traces of evidence, often overlooked by others, underscore the importance of careful observation and attention to detail in criminal investigations. This emphasis on trace evidence analysis foreshadowed the development of modern forensic techniques such as microscopy and spectroscopy, which allow investigators to analyze microscopic materials and extract valuable information about their origin and composition. The historical context in which the Sherlock Holmes stories emerged is crucial to understanding their impact on forensic science. The late 19th and early 20th centuries witnessed a growing interest in applying scientific methods to various aspects of life, including criminal investigation. The rise of forensic science was driven by a desire to improve the accuracy and reliability of criminal investigations, to reduce the risk of wrongful convictions, and to bring perpetrators to justice more effectively. The Sherlock Holmes stories tapped into this growing interest in scientific crime detection, offering readers a glimpse into a world where reason and evidence prevailed over conjecture and speculation. The characters' fictional applications of scientific methods inspired real-world investigators to adopt similar approaches. Many early forensic scientists and detectives were avid readers of the Sherlock Holmes stories, and they drew inspiration from the characters' methods and techniques. The stories provided a model for how scientific principles could be applied to crime scene investigation, and they encouraged investigators to think critically, to observe carefully, and to seek out evidence that might otherwise be overlooked. The influence of Sherlock Holmes on forensic science is perhaps best illustrated by the fact that many early forensic laboratories were modeled after the fictional laboratory described in the stories. These laboratories were equipped with microscopes, chemicals, and other scientific instruments, and they were staffed by scientists and detectives who were dedicated to applying scientific methods to crime solving. It is important to acknowledge that Conan Doyle was not a forensic scientist, and the Sherlock Holmes stories are works of fiction. The characters' methods are often idealized and simplified, and they do not always reflect the complexities of real-world forensic investigations. However, the stories served as a valuable tool in popularizing scientific methods for crime detection, and they inspired real-world investigators to adopt more scientific approaches. The enduring legacy of Sherlock Holmes in forensic science lies in the character's ability to capture the imagination of the public and to demonstrate the power of reason and evidence in solving complex problems. The fictional detective's impact is evident in the continued fascination with forensic science and the ongoing development of innovative techniques for crime detection. The principles of observation, deduction, and scientific analysis popularized through the Sherlock Holmes stories remain essential in modern forensic investigations. The character's legacy serves as a reminder of the importance of applying scientific methods to the pursuit of justice and the ongoing quest for truth. Sherlock Holmes, the literary creation, continues to inspire and influence the world of forensic science, a testament to the power of storytelling in shaping our understanding of the world and the pursuit of knowledge. Beyond the realm of detective fiction, Arthur Conan Doyle maintained a diverse array of scientific interests, reflecting a mind that consistently sought to explore and understand the world through empirical observation and rational inquiry. His medical training instilled in him a deep appreciation for the scientific method, a framework he applied to various fields, some with more success than others. One area that captured Doyle's attention and subsequently became a significant part of his life was the study of spiritualism. This pursuit, while seemingly at odds with the rigorous logic of Sherlock Holmes, reveals a facet of Doyle's character that sought empirical validation for phenomena beyond the conventional understanding of science. It is crucial to view Doyle's involvement with spiritualism as a case study in belief systems and the challenges of discerning evidence, rather than as an endorsement of specific spiritual claims. Doyle's interest in spiritualism developed against the backdrop of significant scientific advancements and social upheaval. The late 19th and early 20th centuries witnessed groundbreaking discoveries in physics, chemistry, and biology, which challenged existing paradigms and sparked a sense of wonder and possibility. Simultaneously, the devastation of World War I left many grappling with grief and a desire for solace, creating a fertile ground for spiritualist beliefs. Doyle, like many of his contemporaries, sought to reconcile scientific principles with the possibility of spiritual phenomena. He attended seances, investigated mediums, and documented his findings in books and articles. His approach, while driven by a genuine desire to understand the nature of consciousness and the afterlife, was often influenced by his pre-existing beliefs and a willingness to accept anecdotal evidence. This susceptibility to confirmation bias highlights the inherent challenges in applying the scientific method to subjective experiences and the importance of maintaining rigorous skepticism. It is crucial to recognize that Doyle's scientific background equipped him with a framework for investigation, yet his personal convictions sometimes overshadow his objectivity. He approached spiritualism with a predetermined hypothesis, seeking evidence to support his belief in the existence of spirits and the possibility of communication with the deceased. This contrasts with the ideal of scientific inquiry, which emphasizes the importance of formulating hypotheses based on observations and remaining open to the possibility of disconfirmation. Doyle's writings on spiritualism offer valuable insights into the complexities of human belief and the enduring quest to understand the mysteries of existence. They serve as a reminder that even individuals trained in scientific disciplines can be susceptible to biases and the allure of extraordinary claims. The case of Doyle and spiritualism underscores the importance of critical thinking, skepticism, and the need for rigorous empirical evidence in evaluating any claim, regardless of its source. Beyond spiritualism, Doyle advocated for certain medical practices that, while not universally accepted at the time, reflected his commitment to exploring alternative approaches to healthcare. He expressed interest in hydrotherapy, a treatment involving the use of water for therapeutic purposes, and other non-conventional therapies. His support for these practices stemmed from a belief in the body's innate ability to heal itself and the potential of natural remedies to promote well-being. Doyle's advocacy for these medical practices highlights a broader trend in the late 19th and early 20th centuries as individuals sought alternatives to conventional medicine. While some of these approaches lacked rigorous scientific validation, they often reflected a desire for more holistic and patient-centered care. Doyle's willingness to explore these options demonstrates his open-mindedness and his commitment to finding effective solutions to health challenges. The enduring legacy of Sherlock Holmes lies not only in the captivating narratives and intricate plots, but also in the character's embodiment of scientific thinking. Holmes's meticulous observation, logical deduction, and reliance on empirical evidence have inspired generations of readers and influenced the development of modern forensic science. The fictional detective's methods continue to resonate with those who seek to solve complex problems through reason and analysis. Conan Doyle's medical background and scientific mindset profoundly shaped the creation of Sherlock Holmes. The character's analytical skills, attention to detail, and systematic approach to investigation reflect Doyle's own training and his belief in the power of scientific inquiry. Holmes's methods, while fictionalized, provided a compelling demonstration of how scientific principles could be applied to solve real-world problems. The impact of Sherlock Holmes extends far beyond the realm of literature. The character has inspired countless individuals to pursue careers in science, law enforcement, and forensic science. His methods have influenced the development of innovative techniques for crime detection and have helped to improve the accuracy and reliability of forensic investigations. The enduring fascination with Holmes's character and methods underscores the importance of scientific thinking in the pursuit of justice. Doyle's contribution to popularizing scientific thinking lies in his ability to present complex ideas in an accessible and engaging manner. Through the Sherlock Holmes stories, he demonstrated the power of observation, deduction, and scientific analysis in solving mysteries and uncovering the truth. The character's enduring appeal stems from his ability to inspire and empower readers to think critically and to approach problems with a scientific mindset. The legacy of Arthur Conan Doyle and Sherlock Holmes is a testament to the enduring power of storytelling in shaping our understanding of the world. The fictional detective's methods have not only entertained generations of readers, but have also inspired real-world investigators to adopt more scientific approaches. The enduring impact lies in the continued fascination with Holmes's methods and the inspiration he provided for applying scientific principles to solving real-world problems. The character's legacy serves as a reminder of the importance of reason, evidence, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge in our quest to understand the world around us. The principles of observation, deduction, and scientific analysis, popularized through the Sherlock Holmes stories, remain essential in modern forensic investigations.
We really appreciate you tuning in to this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.